The Global Latin Factor Podcast.
Welcome to another episode of the Global Latin Factor Podcast, where we talk about Latino everything. Welcome you and all to another episode. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you go follow on all the podcast platforms you listen to. Thank you very much for the ones that are already listening to. Today, we have another... I think every person that comes to the podcast that takes time is very special because they have their own story. And this individual is no different. We have Mr. I apologize. J-Kruz.
That's right.
We cruising with J-Kruz. And on-air personality, TV personality, host, podcast producer, from what I hear. And I'm pretty sure much more. How you doing today?
I'm good.
Excellent.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
I'm great, brother. I appreciate, again, the time. I know that you're super busy, but thank you. It's greatly appreciated, especially in the holidays. Everybody's getting ready to, get everything situated for Christmas, Navidad, and all that. So, gracias.
Well, no, thank you, bro, for just, reaching out and thinking that I'm, worthy to interview for the Latin culture and representing. So I appreciate it.
Absolutely. We met a couple of times before. You're super cool in person. Your personality stands out as, some of the places that you might find online that it says, because you are, your personality is dope and your story, I think, is very interesting. I think people might find inspiration in the things that you've done and continue to do so. Absolutely. But before we get too serious, let's go ahead and do what's called Preguntas al Chile. So Preguntas al Chile pretty much is rapid fire questions just to get to know. So I know that you're Greek and Puerto Rican. I'm sorry, Dominican.
Dominican, yeah, you got it.
Even though you live here in Texas, so a lot of the Texas culture, we have Mexican food. So some of this are going to consist of some platillos mexicanos. First question.
Yeah, for sure.
Tacos o tortas?
Okay, so tortas, or what's the difference? I'm not sure. Okay, are we asking so what's the difference?
Okay, so tacos, the Mexican tacos, or do you like the tortas, the ones with the bread on it? Then you can put different kind of meats like fajita and different things like that.
Oh, okay. See, I wasn't really familiar with that. So you throwing me off already. Now, if you would have said corn or flour, I would have said flour.
That's the next question. Look at you. You're getting ahead of me.
Okay. But I think I'm going to go with the tacos over the tortas.
Oh, absolutely. All right. What about the corn tortillas or the flour tortillas?
Absolutely flour. I cannot. And I'm not trying to be extra go hard on the corn tortillas, but I can't stand them.
I love corn tortillas. I'll take a defense to that.
I know, bro. I try to be careful with that because I don't want to offend all my Mexicanos. But man, I do not enjoy. I don't even like their smell because I don't.
Well, I've been to the Dominican Republic, so the cuisine itself is different. I've been to Santo Domingo, so I was over there and I see that there's difference because I didn't see a lot of corn, but I did see a lot of plátanos and bananas and things like that. That is different. It's way different. So I know where you're coming from. Absolutely.
I will eat plátanos every single day, bro. Like I love plátanos. Like for real. Like I love plátanos.
Okay, so we tested your Mexican culture. I don't know if you knew that. And I know that you're half Dominican, half Greek. But again, we'll have some of those questions for you. So don't get me wrong. Right, cool. Gorditas or sopes? Do you know what those are?
Say it again.
Gorditas or sopes? Do you know what those are?
See, God, again, you're really getting me with these because I'm not sure. I know if you show me them, I'll know. But again, I'm not really. I don't know right now. I don't know what the difference is, which one they are.
We'll move on to the next one. What about have you ever had a Mexican Coca or a jarrito, the sodas?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Coke all day. Mexican Coca-Colas is the shit. I love those. They're super strong, and they will. It's extra. That's that extra sweetened. Yeah, it's extra. It's like pow.
What about the aguas? You like the aguas frescas, the different flavors?
I do. I do like the agua frescas.
Horchata, Jamaica, or tamarindo? Which one do you like best?
The tamarindo.
Tamarindo, yeah.
I'm gonna go with that one. I'm gonna go with that one
too. My favorite is Jamaica. I like the plant and the the flavor with it. I don't
The
know.
flavor, yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. What about, are you into spice at all? Like spicy food or spicy salsas?
Yep, and I'm not really a spicy food eater. I know I'm the worst interviewee ever, because I do not like spicy food. I am not a fan of my mouth being on fire. And people be like, because you tell somebody, oh, you Dominican, and I'd be like, yeah, but I don't like spicy food. They'd be like, what you mean? And I'd be like, well, spicy food isn't really like
It's
a
not.
Dominican thing.
Absolutely not.
It's not. It's not. So no, I am not a fan of spicy food. Now I like the Takis. I'll eat a little bit of something spicy, but I am not sitting there all day. I can't do it.
Absolutely. Beer, Mexican beer. You like Corona, Dos Equis, Modelo, Victoria?
I'm gonna have to stick with the Corona. I am a fan of Corona, but I do like Modelo.
All right. What about tequila or mezcal?
Tequila.
Okay. So now I'm going to get to some of your questions. Check it out.
All right.
Sancocho or la bandera dominicana?
La bandera dominicana.
Mangú or mofongo?
Mofongo.
All right. Now I'm going to try my very best to pronounce these Greek dishes next. So,
hey, you might throw me off a little bit on this. Come on.
Oh, really? Oh, we're going to see.
Yeah.
Mausaka or papautsakia? I got you, right?
And I'm gonna have to see the word right now, but I'm gonna go with the Matsakia.
Yeah. See, I told you I was gonna mess it up. Okay.
Well, listen, and my Greek isn't that bad. I could still speak a little bit of Greek, but it's been a long time.
All right, I have another one. I'm gonna give it my best shot. Is pastitsio, which is Greek lasagna, or souvlaki, which is gyros.
I'm gonna go with the souvlaki.
Souvlaki. Oh, look at that.
Yeah, that's how you say that, souvlaki.
Another thing that I didn't say on your introductions that you're trilingual, so you know Spanish.
Yes,
English,
Greek, and English. And just to give you a quick breakdown, like the first languages we spoke at home were Spanish and Greek, because my dad was Greek, my mom was Spanish. And then we left America for a little bit and came back. And when we came back, we really didn't speak English. Even though we were born in New York City, we came back to the U.S. and we didn't speak any English. So we had to get a tutor and shit at home and to help us catch up,
Do you remember how old you were when you left? And then y'all went to Greece?
Yeah, we was young. Yeah, because because when my sister's 1 year older than me, so I'm guessing like 3 years old we left.
And you came back when you were 12.
We lived in DR for a little bit. Then we lived in Greece for a little bit. Then we came back to America. When we came back to America, we ain't speak no English. Put it like that.
Okay, so you came back when you were 12. Did you have to take ESL? Because I wasn't born here either. I was born in Mexico.
We took ESL. We had to take those. We had to go to the other classes where the kids couldn't speak English that well. We went to all those classes. Yeah. I don't know if I was necessarily 12 exactly. It might have been a little bit earlier than that. But yeah, we had to get ESL classes, all that.
Yeah, how did the kids treat you? Because again, I wasn't born here either. I was born in Mexico.
Bro, I call myself an American immigrant because I was born here, but left for a while and came back. And when I came back, a lot of stuff was new to us because we grew up in a household that had Greek and Dominican culture. So it wasn't an American culture. Like we didn't know about slavery.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like we didn't grow up, like we didn't know about color of skin. In my house, my mom was chocolate and my dad was like an olive guy walking around. He was more pale, more white. So we didn't see color. We saw two people who loved each other and we were the product of it.
Yeah.
And skin color, because my brother's darker. Like out of the three of us, he was the darkest,
Yeah.
And we just didn't see color. Like those issues didn't come up until we started seeing how society was. Around us, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, and I think it's a world thing, but a lot of it is a U.S. more thing than anything.
For sure, yeah. It's I think America is a dope place,
absolutely,
for freedom, and you could do all that, but it also has its negatives, right? The things that you come in contact with that people from other countries come here and they appreciate certain things a lot more than we do, and we take for granted a lot of stuff because we grow up in America. Like first generation people, people who come from other countries and come here, you usually see it. Really hard workers. They do this, they do that, they work hard, they get with it. Now their kids, their second generation, not always as hard workers as they are. Why? Because they worked really hard, put them on, and now they're spoiled. Yep. So they don't have to do what mom and dad did. So they don't have the same work ethic. They don't have the same sacrifice type of deal. They're more spoiled, so they don't have to. Now, their parents have done better, so they could get them in better schools, shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's that cycle that you see sometimes where the second generation that is blessed from their parents coming here and working hard just doesn't work as hard as their parents did.
Yeah, that's true. Absolutely. Because we see it also in the Latino and the Mexican community, like what we call Chicanos, like a first generation Mexicano, which a lot of them get the stereotype that they're, don't work so hard and different things like that. But, what for when the parents already busted it behind? Don't get me wrong, they still have the ethic of trying to work hard, but they don't have to so much because their parents sacrificed a lot, which is the same thing from I'm still born in Mexico, as I mentioned earlier, but I seen my dad work really hard. So I seen that it's important to put those hours in, and then
it is. It's satisfying, It's you get something from it, putting in that kind of work. And again, I worked hard in life, and my kids, they don't have to go through what I went through at their age. Yeah. Like what I was going through at their age, they don't know nothing about that. They don't know nothing about that. Now, it builds character. Tough times builds character. I get that. So, they don't get to experience that, but I try in other ways to teach them how important it is to know how to work hard, to get things on your own, to know how to stand on your own feet and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? Just because I did really well doesn't mean I'm going to make the road really easy for you, because an easy road does not create a tough person.
I think you mentioned it in another interview about that, how they're a little softer. They're a little softer. The generation, but it's because of your fruits of your labor. Think about it, my G.
Every rapper we know, right? Every successful rapper we know,
right?
Their kids are not cut from the same cloth.
No,
their kids aren't gonna be like them.
No,
they're not.
They're not.
They're just because, especially like not to say that I know Jeezy. I mean, I've interviewed him, but I don't know the man that well.
You talking about Lil Jeezy?
Young Jeezy and his child.
No, you talking about Lil Jeezy? I heard that.
Just saying, Jeezy's son is not gonna be a trap boy.
No, I heard about the interview. You accidentally called him into the stage the wrong name.
Oh yeah. That
My bad, I didn't mean to put you on blast, but I thought it was interesting.
No, that's one of my worst, most embarrassing moments ever. But yeah, it's also one of my most
picture you dropping you to one knee, because I seen you MC before.
I did. Yeah, I dropped the one knee. I was like, Little Jeezy, and I think I did it. I think I just killed that shit. I'm like, I'm walking back to the off the stage, and I'm like, yeah, my boss is looking at me like, yo, bro. And then Jeezy's people are like, yo, man, who the fuck is that clown? Y'all need to fire him. You know who it is? It's the motherfucking snowman.
But I agree with you. I agree with one thing on that part, because I heard different interviews about him, because you also mentioned before in another podcast that he's not street. He just paints that image of it. He's just not about that, like Gucci Mane.
It was more. I think we've all come to the consensus that Gucci Mane was about that life more. I do feel that Jeezy was a hustler, right?
Yeah.
He rapped a lot about being a hustler. I would say he rapped more about being a hustler than being like a killer or somebody who would take you out if you fucked with him per se. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but 80% of them,
the hustle.
But 80% of rappers, it is a persona. They're not really about that. Like, they just telling the story about it. There is a few like Gucci for sure. They're about that life.
And I'll say this: I think we're all about that life. Like anybody who grows up in poverty, can be pushed to that limit. Any human being in any situation can be pushed in that limit. But especially for us, we say we about that life because we're surrounded by it. Sometimes we're forced to pull out that gun and shoot back. But necessarily, how many of these guys are actually cold-blooded killers, though?
Yeah, that's true.
That's the difference. You see what I'm saying? Because there's a difference between, I'm down to do some dirt, but are you a cold-blooded killer? Because that's different. And sometimes they paint that persona where they can kill 5-6 people and go right to sleep.
Yeah.
And it takes a certain kind of person to kill that many people or kill somebody and go home and go to sleep.
Yeah.
Because it's not that, from what I hear, I've never killed anyone, obviously. Mm-hmm. From what I hear, it's not something that you just take lightly, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's something that bothers you, right? So I get it. The culture teaches us to be like tough guys and be like, man, fuck that, plow, I'll kill you, I'll kill anybody. I'll go in the crib, run up in the crib, we take everybody out. Really though? Mm-hmm. Are you gonna go in the crib and kill 5-6 people? You're gonna kill a grandma and a 6-year-old? You're killing the kids? You're that kind of ruthless of a person? Yeah. Because if you're on that level type of killer, cuz you belong in some other shit like the cartel or some shit that can really use that kind of person. Yep. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like, so I do feel like sometimes it very much it is a persona. Not to say that none of them have it in them to take it to that level, to kill somebody if they have to shoot a gun way quicker than some other people because they grow up around it. We grow up in the middle of it. We're pushed to do it sometimes. But I do feel like we exaggerate how much of cold-blooded killers we are.
Yeah.
And I say we because it's the culture. It's Mexicans. It's black. It's the streets. It's poverty. It's all that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. People do have to go through some hard stuff. And then that hard stuff, like boxers, like a good at least 90% of the ones that are the best boxers there ever been, Mayweather, Cesar Chavez, Canelo, Tyson, right. They all had a real tough upbringing, like super tough, to where that kind of served them for what they were going to do later in their life, right?
That's a great point. It created the personality they needed to be to survive in that kind of environment and thrive in it as well, to be aggressive as shit, to be vicious, to not show remorse, to just go after some, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you could grow up in the hood and never be like that.
That's true.
And still have to fight sometimes and maybe do some dirt, but at the end of the day, your core is not like that. You're not that person. You're not.
That's true.
Everybody, and everybody's different, cuz everybody's different.
Absolutely. And again, I cut you off on the story about the kids. So a lot of the rappers' kids, you're right, they're not going to grow in a tough environment. They're not.
And back to the more lighter note of it. Yes. But that's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
You made it out the hood. You became successful. Now you have all this shit. I'm not saying your kids aren't going to be like you, but they're not going to be exposed to the shit that you were exposed to. So they're not going to be the same person that you are, period.
Yeah, and it's okay, though, because we're supposed to transcend,
it's okay.
Right?
Yes, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah, it's
all right.
Okay.
So I did want it because I did see a couple of interviews from you, a few of them that I found on YouTube.
No, I see that. You did your homework. I see that.
So they touched up on a lot of things, but one of the things that I wanted to do, because I feel that the interview is for you, because, and then a lot of the times, because the time passes by so fast when they're asking you questions, but I still feel like it's important to ask maybe 3 questions that you wish they would have asked you. So what would those be?
I remember you. I read this and I thought to myself, what, like sometimes. Okay, how difficult is it to get into radio?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, also, radio isn't as popular as it used to be, right? It's
Absolutely.
Not like it's not your number one choice of source of entertainment anymore. You got Spotify, you got YouTube, you got this, you got that, you got apps, you got your own playlist. They've made it so you can entertain yourself without the need of radio. Radio will be around. But for anybody out there who is still might be interested in radio, please understand that the best way for you to get your foot in the door is to just get a job at the radio station. I don't care if it's in promotions. I don't care if it's in sales. I don't care. Get your foot in the door some way, somehow, in any department that you can, and then slowly try to make your way to the department that you want to be in.
Yeah, because you started an internship. That's how it all began.
I did. Yeah. I took an internship, and the only reason why I took the internship is because me and my brother was rappers at the time, and I just wanted to work at a radio station because I thought, shit, what better way of maybe getting my music played than working at a radio station? So I took the job. For 4.5 years. I worked in the office part of a radio station. I can go into more details about that, but it's whatever. I worked a regular 9 to 5 wearing khakis and button-ups, but I started hanging out with a lot of the DJs and and then on the side I started doing board op where you just, for a few hours to make some extra money, where you just go in the studio and push buttons and make sure everything's running correctly. It's called a board operator.
Yes, sir.
You don't talk or anything. So I started doing that. But eventually, once I started doing that, another guy came in and there was an opportunity, and boom, I got Saturday nights talking. It was my first time talking. And then eventually that turned into me being full-time night show for like 4.5 years. Then they sold that station. Then I was looking for work and got a job out here in Dallas, and I've been here 11 years.
Yeah, because you did go, eventually you did get a degree, if I'm not mistaken, business communication from Dove.
Not communication. It was business administration.
I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, it was just business administration from Duff's Business Institute. Again, it was one of those 18-month program type schools. So when people say, hey, you go to college? I'm like, I went to like big high school. It's not, I don't know if I consider it no diss to Duff's. Yeah. And it is an associate's degree. And I'm not taking anything away from education. There is value in it, and for some people. School isn't for everybody either. We live in 2021. You do not necessarily have to go to school to be successful. We all know this.
I agree with you. I believe not necessarily a degree. I believe in education, like educating yourself. Yes, like everything about this podcast and different things like that I had to even start doing it and different things like, because I've been on terrestrial radio, but more in community radio station before. So I've done the radio part too. But it took all those little pieces to learn to even be able to do a podcast. You know what I mean? So
it does take this. Yeah, because I will say you carry yourself very professionally. You do your homework. You're diligent. And I've been on some other podcasts that were just a little, less organized. And you're doing a great job.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. For this big podcast that we have going on here. Not little podcast, big podcast.
Latin Factor, baby. Let's go.
Yeah. Okay. So what was the question number 2? So again, it is important for radio. If anybody, because people ask you, but
how to get into. Yes.
Get your foot in the door.
That out there.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry about that. You were saying?
No, I just, and then I would say, what would be the second question people ask me? Somebody recently asked me the other day, how do you stay so, because radio can be tough. The world of entertainment can be tough. There's up and downs. You can lose your job. You can lose your livelihood. Overnight, things change. If your ratings go down for too long, you're out of there. You sign 1, 2, 3-year contracts. We're in and out of cities sometimes. Like it's almost like an athlete's life, because, let's say if a station in Kentucky calls me and say, hey, we're interested in you. We got this much money for you. Come out here for a year. I got a year contract. You do the night show. I'll give you this much money. We'll see how it goes, right? So you move out there. You do it. And at the end of that year, they either have an option to re-sign you, or they tell you it's a wrap. Yeah. You moved there though, understanding that it was a year contract, right? So you move. So that's the thing. And then they re-sign you. Cool. Now you hear good. But then after a couple of years, they don't sign you. So now you got to, either you give up on being a radio personality, or you move. Mm-hmm. You go chase it. Because that's one thing through my years of working, I met a lot of people, like when they meet me, or because when I came to Dallas, or when I started at Whammo in Pittsburgh. And now, I don't know if you know, I'm the newest member of Dee in the Morning on K104.
Oh, you breaking news right now to me, brother? Because I was just about to ask you. You were still within the 6-month period from you led 97.9.
Yeah. So let's explain that to those watching. In my line of work, if you leave a job, if you leave a station, you have to. They're called non-competes. So for 6 months, or maybe sometimes a year, you cannot work at another radio station in that same area, in that market, for that long period. You have to sit out for 6 months. So if another station wanted to pick you up, you cannot for 6 months if that's in your contract. Yeah. I had a 6-month non-compete, so I got out of mine. After the 6 months was over is when I started sending out my resume here in the Dallas area, trying to get jobs in other stations. And I got picked up by Dee in the Morning. I am the newest member of the morning show. It's a syndicated show, 60+ cities.
Oh,
let's go.
Have you put it out anywhere? Because I haven't seen it.
I haven't. I officially, on my page, have not said anything, because Lady Jade, we had an event the other day. Well, we was doing a meeting, and she kind of put it on TikTok, so people are starting to see it. And K104 even put up a thing on their page. But I personally haven't put anything yet right now, because I'm still chilling, because I'm not talking till the 3rd.
Okay.
Right, so it kind of leaked out, and I'm okay with that. But I'm waiting to see. I'm waiting for my post. I ain't putting.
Is it okay if we're probably going to release the interview in 2 weeks?
Yeah. Go ahead, say that. I'm sorry. I didn't...
Apologize for interruption. In 2 weeks, we can release the episode, but we can definitely do it within 1 week. So if it's okay with you, we can go ahead.
You can put this out whenever you want. You can put it out tomorrow. I do not care.
Within 1 week, brother. I'll tag you on it to make sure that
you good. I go on my first day is the 3rd because they're going on vacation and all that. So when we come back, that's when I'm going. I feel like it's too early for me to say anything right now. I'm good.
All right, it's all good. Again, big congratulations. It's huge.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
So anyway, but that's back to my point. You can't. I've come across a lot of people who always be like, "Oh yeah, I used to be in radio, but then I lost that job, so I kind of gave up on it." Where when I lost my first gig, there was no way I was just gonna give up on being a radio personality. I went and I looked for work. I sent my resume out. I was looking out, and then I took a job in Dallas. I came all the way from Pittsburgh to Dallas. I was scared as shit.
Yeah,
that was a big change.
2010, from PA all the way to over here.
Yeah, 2010, about 11 years ago, I made that decision to move. Now, best decision I ever made in my life, but I was terrified. Change of culture. I'm an East Coast boy, bro.
Absolutely.
I grew up on Jay-Z and Nas and Mobb Deep, and I'm moving down to the South. And I don't know nothing about nothing, but. In life, you got to take those risks and believe in yourself. And that's usually when I take risks and believe in myself, it paid off, just like I did with this leap. I left 97 on the beat on good terms. Nothing bad to say about Radio 1. I loved the opportunity they gave me over there. But I got to a point where I said I needed something else, right? So I walked away from my contract after it was over. I didn't re-sign. I said, okay, I'm good. I'm going to go look for some other opportunities. I sat out the 6 months. After the 6 months, I started sending my shit out. And boom, somebody recognized my talent and picked me up. Shout out to Deep Morning.
I appreciate you sharing. Again, big congratulations. I think that somebody mentioned you were born for this, and there's no lie. Even though you were going the rapper way, and I want to ask you in a little while about that. but again, so there's a story about this. I think it was this general or somebody, right? They went into this island they were going to invade. And to make sure that they didn't have no option, they were going to win, that general, whoever was, burned the ships down. So there was no going back home. You have to win the battle. You know what I mean? So whenever I was hearing your story about leaving Pittsburgh, it's like kind of like that, right? You like left no safety net to you to fail. You took everything, your belongings. At that time, it was your
and my family, because I brought my girl, the kids. I brought the whole team, because my thing was like, I could have came out here by myself. You know what I mean? I could have left everybody behind and did the whole try to go back and forth and be a dad and then come here. And I was like, what? I can't be a dad like how I want to be and be with my girl and then go over here. I can't do that. So we came together.
Not only that, but still that's that safety net behind that. Like if I fail, I still got a home over there. And then you literally just burned the ship. That was like, nope, we're gonna go ahead and come this way to the top 5 market in the world, and we're gonna make it happen. And for what I remember in interviews, you just been hustling every single time. Because that's another thing about you that I noticed, that you out there hustling every single day.
I hit the ground running, because when I moved here, man, I didn't stop. I was going to every club, and then every time I went to a club, I was like, hey, who's the promoter? And as soon as I started promoting, hey, my name is J-Kruz. I'm the new night show guy, 97.9. Nice to meet you, bro. Da-da-da-da-da. Hey, man, so listen, let me know if you ever need a host. I'll come through, blah, blah, blah. What you charge? So I know how radio guys are at times, right? They charge a little bit more, right? When you're a radio guy, I get it. But me being a new guy, yes, I was a full-time night show guy, but I'm new. Brand new city. Don't nobody know me. I'm not coming out here charging $500 for appearances, $1,000 for appearances. You fucking nuts. I'm brand new. So I hit him with the low. I hit him with the low. Hey, how much? I was like, boom, boom, boom. Oh, for real? Yeah, man, come on. Then book me. Boom, let's go. Boom, got a gig. Next, boom, got a gig. So I hit the ground running. I took the initiative to go to places, to go to clubs and meet people. And, I didn't act like, I didn't come here with like this, oh, I'm the night show guy. I'm the out of town new dude. I'm the, it was more like, hey, man, my name's Kruz. Nice to meet you. I'm from out of town. Boom, boom. Let's rock. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like people embrace that. People like that about me, that I came down like humble, like ready to meet people and connect. And I'm new here. This is y'all city. I'm not going to come here and just because I'm on the radio station, pretend like I'm in charge of y'all city.
Yeah.
Now I got to pay my dues, meet people, rub shoulders. And that's what I did. And that's why I feel like a lot of times people feel like I've been here for way longer than I have. Sometimes people be like, Kruz, how long you been here? And I'd be like, 10 years. They'd be like, for real? Because it feels like you've been here for like 30. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I feel that's because I move so much and mingle so much. And, I could, and then 10 years ago, it was a little more separated. Like I could do the black clubs, I could do the Latin clubs. Now it's like more blended, like, the world's more blended. But back then it was a little more separated.
Yep.
But I was everywhere because of my demeanor, being Dominicano, growing up with black people. Like I could do both. You know what I'm saying? I got no problem going to each one. And my diversity helped me a lot. Just get around and mix everywhere.
And you had every right to feel that way if you wanted to when you came over here. But it says a lot about your upbringing because you were number one in PA for my understanding.
In Pittsburgh. Yeah,
you were number one for a
number
little
one
while.
night show.
Yeah. So you did have but again, it says a lot about your upbringing, and I don't know if it was more of your mom, but I think it's more of your mom's side. As far as the Latino, like we come more with a humble approach, and even though sometimes we undersell ourselves, but at the end of the day, you knew what you were worth at that time, but at the same time, you knew that it was somebody else's home that you just needed to make relationships, and I think you've been successful. I've seen you MC plenty. So actually, we MC'd together before. A few shows.
I was gonna say, I swear we did, right? Okay,
yep.
yeah.
The one that I remember more is because I was more of I still do it. I still do private gigs like weddings and quinceañeras and stuff like that. Not so much clubs. However, I remember the one. It was who was it? The one from Houston, Slim Thug. And it was it was a tequila, I remember, and then you were there too, and I went berserk on the mic because I was just so much energy, you know what I mean? But it was like too raw. I wasn't in control of a lot of things, and I was like, but I remember I looked back at you, you gave me this look, and I'm pretty sure you don't remember what I did. You're like, what the heck is this crazy little dude over here jumping around?
Hey man, it's cool. Hey, it's a learning experience, man. Controlling a crowd and being on that mic, it's. Sometimes you gotta learn how to do it, and you learn what not to do, and we just
not to get too overexcited about it.
You gotta have the courage. You gotta have the courage to at least try.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I love it. I love MCing still to this day. Again, I'm better with it, controlling my breathing, not getting overexcited about it. So I definitely enjoy it. But again,
your timing matters, all that.
But then I always took notes anytime I seen you out on the stage working the crowd. Like, I like that. Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. I used to do the same thing when I see, shout outs to Bebe. Bebe, when Bebe hosts things, man, Bebe is really good, bro. So again, like I do say, like, I am a very humble person, and sometimes we do downplay our own selves where we downplay how good we actually are. You know what I'm saying? Where we could be a little bit more arrogant or more cocky with it if we wanted to, but no, I try to remain humble at all times, and it helps me get to where it really does. Being humble will help you out more, I would think, than being a cocky a-hole. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you do gotta acknowledge your flowers after it, because I have no doubt that Bebe is absolutely the best. But I know you mentioned it before, how even though he is that, certain parts you are better. Like you've been on TV a little bit more, like. For being would be like, I'm pretty sure he's like awesome, because I know some DJs that actually work with him. But I got that Spanish. Spanish.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. There's certain things that I've done and I've accomplished that he has not.
Yeah.
Now, if you say who has the biggest name in radio as far as the hip hop culture, motherfucking Bebe.
Absolutely.
Hands down, and everybody knows that. And if you try to say he's not, you're lying to yourself. Okay?
Yeah, it's true. It is.
Since my time here in DF Dub, what jock on radio has had more of a TV presence than me? Yeah. Nobody.
Yeah, that's true to that too.
Nobody. And as a Latino jock who's had the most impact more than me, nobody. So there's certain things, I'll take, or and somebody might argue that, and that's fine too. I'm not saying it's, what I say is fucking fact, but
I'm gonna fact check you right now. I'm just kidding.
Right.
No, you are. Right. It's true though. As far as the music, being around, connecting with people, being on TV, yeah, hands down. I don't know anybody else. I mean,
that's
I'm in tune with the streets.
I'm okay with looking at another person and saying, wow, they're really good at this, or wow, they've done this very well. You know what I mean? Give people their own flowers, man. It's okay. Like when you can look at somebody else and congratulate them, That's good. That's a good thing. That's a healthy thing, cuz.
You know what? I'm moving to 2022 that I was thinking about the other day. I'm going to congratulate people and tell them that I'm proud of them for everything they've done, even if they don't know me that well or I see them doing their thing. Because I think
for sure, bro.
I think it's awesome to do so, especially when I mean it. Because if you're going at it, you're trying, you're here, you manage to see another day, and you're still going out there and putting in a fight and doing it. And hey, if nobody's ever told you, I'm proud of you. You know what I mean? And I think sometimes we don't hear that a lot.
Ain't nothing wrong with that, bro. Ain't nothing wrong with that. For real, for real.
Number 3. So what is the number 3 question you wish they would have asked at another interview that you had?
Let me see here. Okay. I wish people would ask me what got me here. Okay. Like people say, hey, Kruz, so what would you say got you to this point? Right.
Yes.
Because to me, sometimes it's a really simple answer. And I know I don't want to sound cliche or just like corny, but what got me here is just always doing the right thing. We as humans, I feel like we know what's wrong or right. We know, right?
Yeah.
And when you do something wrong, don't pretend like you had to do it. Don't pretend like, oh, it's, don't give yourself excuses. Own it. The shit was wrong. You did something wrong. It's wrong. Eat that karma that's coming. Understand that every wrong decision you make brings a little bit of bad energy and karma towards your way. So what that means is, and I know this might sound a little crazy, the more bad decisions you make, the more bad karma you create. Every time you make a selfish decision that affects other people in a negative way, that's negative energy you're building around for yourself. And when you're building that much negative shit towards you, you are going to block blessings. You're going to block positive things coming towards you, right?
Yeah.
I am not the most ready person. I am not the most prepared. I'm not the smartest. I'm not the most diligent. I'm not the most anything. But opportunities just keep coming to me in my life, cuz. And I feel like because at the end of the day, at my core, I'm a solid person. Right. I don't steal. I don't lie. I don't do people dirty. And I'm not saying I'm perfect by any means. Okay? By any means. I'm just saying the important things, the big things in life, the things that matter. Right. If you take care of those things, cuz, and again, I'm not saying if we're on the phone and you say, hey, Kruz, how far are you? And I'm like half an hour away, but I tell you 12 minutes.
That's the Latino. That's the Latino in you, bro.
Yeah. I'm not saying I don't do that. I'm not saying I don't lie. I'm not saying that. I'm saying I don't do things that are overly negative and hurt other people.
Oh, yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
And that could be, that comes in a lot of ways, right? That can come in a lot of different ways. Like, it could be relationships with your girl, with your friends, with family, with co-workers. It's just be careful the decisions you make because you create your own reality that's going to be surrounding you. And if you make bad decisions and selfish ones all the time, you're just going to have this negative energy cloud around you at all times, and you will not see success in life.
Absolutely.
And whatever you're chasing, you won't see it. You won't see positive things. So
yeah.
When people say, what do you owe your success to? I owe my success to, and again, I know this sounds corny and cliche, to just being a solid dude, cuz.
Yeah. There's a guru that I listen to often, right? And one of the things that he said one time was, you got to do the right thing for right things to happen. You have to do the right thing for right things to happen. And it makes a whole lot of sense if you think about it. If you eat like crap, then it only makes sense that your health is not going to be the best. If you don't exercise, if you don't take care of your body, if you're always stealing from people or doing bad, if you're always lying, all those things are bad things. They're not the right thing. So it's only bad things are going to happen to you.
That's what you're, right thing. And you don't have to be religious for that. That's not a religious thing. Absolutely That's just like like your own. And my thing is, people kill me. Like, when you do wrong and own it. Prepare for the negative energy, because you just made 5 really bad decisions, okay? Yeah. So don't be surprised when it comes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't be surprised when that shit comes around, because it's going to come around.
Yeah.
So, just own it. So I would, try, if you want to see more success in your life, try to start off with just making better decisions.
Yeah, and integrity takes you a long way.
In your everyday life. Yeah. Just make better, kinder, nicer, unselfish decisions. Don't hurt other people. Don't hurt other people along the way.
Absolutely. It costs nothing to be a decent human being. It costs $0.
And it's easy for us to say that. I know we all go through shit, bro. You wake up, we all have problems. I get it. You could be in a bad mood. I'm not saying that. Again, I'm not shit. I don't want to, that speech I just gave, there's days I don't want to fucking hear it. No, I'm not for real. And if you are having a really bad day, I'm not going to try to give you a speech like that the day you're having a really bad day. I'm going to wait till you've calmed down a little bit, because at that moment when you're feeling pain, when you're feeling hunger, when you're feeling thinking, you're like, man, I'm going to go do this dirt because I need to fucking eat, then go do it.
Yeah.
Go do it, man. You got to eat. I get it. But you're still doing wrong, though.
That is true.
I'm not saying it's not necessary for that moment, but just understand you're still doing wrong.
Yeah.
And eventually try to make up for it later. But if you need to do it at that moment, I get it. You know what I mean?
Just be ready for the consequences.
Exactly.
If anything comes around.
It's coming.
It's
coming.
One thing that I didn't see on all the interviews that I checked out about you is your name. I kind of sort of see why you went with J-Kruz. And there's another J-Kruz, but he spells it different in California, right?
Yeah, he spells it with saying I know him. J-Kruz from Cali. He's an amazing jock. I look up to the dude because he's a very well-known Latino on-air personality in the country. So J-Kruz is big, and he does spell it with a C.
Yes.
And that's my homie. Yeah, my real name, I don't really like to talk about it. And not that I'm ashamed of it. In my world, I just went with my radio name. But my last name is Greek, and my first name is boring, and it just throws people off. So I don't even, J-Kruz is way better.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm saying. But why J-Kruz?
The initials, because my real initials were J.K.
Yes, sir.
And I remember when I first got my first gig, bro. It was funny because me and wifey, we sat down, and I had Mike Geronimo. I had
Mike Geronimo. Are you serious? Why that one?
I had Mike Ramirez, Jay Hernandez, because I wanted something to bring out my Latin, to represent my Latin on the radio name. And shout outs to me being Greek, but I just didn't see the go with a Greek name for hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
So when you were picking your name at that time, why did you feel it was important to be somewhere related that Latino community can see and kind of sort of relate to you and show that part? Why did you feel at that time it was important?
Because I've always been super proud of being Dominican, and I love my mama, and I would always, that was, to me, that was it. I love being Greek too, don't get me wrong. My dad died when I was really young, so the Dominican culture was just more, it was, mommy was there, mommy, like Dominicano, it was just Dominican music, the Spanish music. It was just, it was just, that's what I wanted to represent me.
I got you.
The Latino in me, I wanted it to shine and stand strong as a jock. I wanted it to be front and center. Yo, I'm Latino in hip hop. What's up?
Yeah. Awesome. That's what's up, bro. And then again, I see the J-Kruz.
Now, don't get me wrong. I grew up in a place where it was just black and white people in Pittsburgh. My young adulthood was spent in a place where it was just white and black people. And when me and my family moved to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the black people embraced us.
That's what's up.
The white people, not so much. And I understand because my mom is dark. She's a darker woman. She's not, she looks different. She didn't, we didn't look white enough or black enough sometimes. You see what I'm saying? We were very different and we stood out, but the black culture embraced us. We were one of them. I was called light skin. Yo, come here, light skin. It was just, you know what I'm saying? It was just like that. That's how it was.
And a lot of the times, a lot of people, I feel like they see you as like an African American. They don't see you as Dominican because
they do. A lot of Mexicanos here in Dallas will approach me when I first moved there and they say, "Hey, eres moreno. Are you black?" And I used to be like, "Well, yo soy dominicano." You know what I'm saying? But I also get it too because Latinos from the East Coast tend to be different than Latinos from the West Coast or Latinos in Dallas and Texas. You know what I'm saying? The Dominican Puerto Rican culture is a little. It crosses the line with the black culture easier than the Mexican culture does. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
And I know somebody could get on here and pick this apart and be like, he's totally wrong. Culture is this and culture is that. I get it. I'm not saying I'm proficient in these social issues when it comes to Latinos and how you break the shit down.
Yeah.
But I will say that, again, I've grown up using the word nigga my whole life.
Yeah.
Like I was called light skinned my whole life growing up. So I use it now when I'm on it. Yo, I'm light skinned. I'm like, oh, Cruz, light skinned. I'm used to that shit. And I get it. Somebody who's proficient in Black history can sit me down and say, hey, this is why you are not light skinned or whatever, and can break down why the reality of situation. But I'm just telling you the way I was raised.
Yeah,
that's it.
And at the end of the day, to be honest, like Dominican people, they come from indigenous and African American people as well too.
My mother is Afro-Latina. Yeah. Even if some Dominicans don't even want to accept it over there, you're fucking Afro-Latinos.
Yeah.
Look at yourselves. Like, are you fucking serious?
You gotta just look at the map. You gotta look at the map. It's in Latin America. It's in Latin America, and you were indigenous, and there's African slaves that landed there because of whatever they were planning at that time. And it was
a big slave trade port. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
a lot of shit was happening there. So yeah, so I represent my Afro-Latino, and like the new generation of Dominicans are woke. They embrace. They embrace the more, because I remember my mom and them, like the culture. They used to say, you got to marry lighter to lighten up the family, like being the darker skin. They used to try to marry lighter because it was that mentality of try to make your skin lighter. But that's a colonial thing. You know what I'm saying? That's years of oppression and being taught that being the lighter skin is prettier and better and all that shit. But now this new generation of Dominicans are like, yo, Afro-Latino all the way, Afro-Latino all the way. They fucking embracing that shit. I'm proud of it. I'm all for it. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Okay, so with the new gig that you have now, are you still going to be able to do the podcast? 'Cause I know you have done a few episodes and you were working on it. Is it still
the superhero one?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. It's on a sad note. I've been having a hard time trying to get like 5-6 people on like I was regularly, because there's a lot of stuff we want to talk about. Spider-Man's about to come out.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you like any of this shit. You're welcome to come on at any time.
Bro, I'm all for it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not like you. I'm like, I know of it, but I'm not in detail to reading the comics.
If you ever want to come on, you're welcome.
Bro, I watched all the Marvel movies, every single one of them.
There you go.
I can't wait to watch the new Spider-Man. Yeah. I'm a fan of the movies because I can see how the Guardians of the Galaxy, how one day, even though right now maybe I'm not seeing it in my lifetime, but one day we'll be cruising on one of those ships across galaxies. You know what I mean? And like, that is so dope that they can paint us a picture like that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I'm a big, so I don't think it'll get in the way because I do it at home. I do it in this studio. So I do it whenever I want. I don't have it. When I say I got a podcast, I've even lacked on even uploading them on the actual podcast sites. I have, because I kind of push my audience to social media usually. I don't push them to my podcast. I usually just push them to my social media. So I need to become a little better with that, and you could probably help me with that and give me some pointers.
Oh yeah.
To become more professional with my podcast, but I don't think it'll stop it. Anytime I have time to do it, I just do it.
You let me know whenever you need either a guest or you need a little pointers on the podcast, and I got you. I got you.
I can tell you already impressed me with yours, brother.
Because you said it yourself many times over. You know what they say sometimes, right? Knowledge is power, but it's not true. Knowledge is not power. It's what you do with the knowledge that is the power, because consistency is key for sure.
Absolutely, bro.
And I'm not trying to school you, but I'm just saying, like, that's what happens, right? So I feel like I gotta stay consistent with the podcast because I heard it from you, and I feel like, oh man, he's right. I gotta keep at it, even though I'm not. Maybe the big numbers are not there, but I'm gonna consistently keep putting them every week, boom, 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 and I gotta stay consistent with it because I heard
every
it from you.
Success story usually has that, bro. That element where you stick through it. Like I did my homework on podcasts when I was really like interested in, like, not that I'm not interested in them. I did my homework. I did some research. Like, you have to stick to it.
Yep.
The first couple months are fun, but then it's you don't see the growth, and that's when you start becoming disheartening, and you almost want to quit. But you got to keep pushing through it. You got to keep, if you say every Wednesday you got an episode, every Wednesday you got an episode. Period.
Yes, sir.
That's it. Ain't nothing. You're consistent with it. Boom, boom, boom. And I'm not gonna lie. I can't dedicate that much consistency to mine. Yeah. So that's why I don't pretend like, oh man, I don't know why it's not growing in numbers. I know why it's not growing in numbers. I know why, but I do it more for fun than anything. I really don't do it because, you know what I'm saying? don't monetize it, so it's not a money thing for me. It's more of a joy thing, and I enjoy doing it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Because at the same time, you as far I can see, you have 1,000,001 things going on, especially with transitioning from the previous job to this one. I'm pretty sure you had to hustle up and get money on the table.
And I've been focusing a lot on TV this past year, because when I left the beat, and 6 months of not being able to work, and then another whole 6 months, because it was almost a whole year that I was off radio. But you really couldn't tell, because from my posting and the way I was just staying busy, people didn't really even kind of realize it. Like, they were like, wait, you haven't been on the beat? I'm like, nah, man, I haven't. And I understand, it's because people don't listen to the radio all like that all the time. You listen every once in a while, but you're not necessarily going to tap in every time I'm on. But a lot of people didn't even realize that I wasn't on the radio, because I was so heavy posting shit and just, doing the podcast and me being on TV. They just thought, Kruz is still doing his thing. Yeah. But TV helped keep me really relevant during that time.
Yeah, I apologize for the road. So yes, it's gonna trip out people whenever you start posting about Didi in the morning, and I was like, what? Like, K104, what? When did this happen? You know what I mean? You've been like almost a whole year of like not doing this.
And then nowhere.
Even after the post, and even after we put the podcast, I'm pretty sure people they were like, what? When did this happen? Yeah. And you've been like,
today my phone's been blowing up a little bit, because right now on K104 they're running these little things that say, guess who cruised on over to the #1 station? You know what I mean? And it's like, yo, it's your boy J-Kruz, man. I'm on Didi in the morning every morning, kick me out. I said something like, I'm gonna talk about hip hop. I'm gonna do talk about the daddy duties, and I'm gonna add some Latin spice to the show. I was like, mi gente, órale, wey, we cruising. You know what I mean?
Oh man, that's so dope. I can't wait to hear you. I'm gonna check it out in the morning.
I said the órale, wey part, because that's me representing for the Mexicans here, because I could have been like, que lo que, ya tú sabes, you know what I mean? But that's all grand and dandy, but that's not, here in Texas, we say órale, wey.
Yep, that's true. Okay, one thing I had to ask is, mano a mano, how many projects? Did y'all do any projects at all with Swerve?
Oh my God, bro. Me and my brother had so much music, and music that never even came out, because I don't have it here in front of me. I wish I had one of my albums where I could show you the CD.
So you actually did press the albums out. Y'all were
Oh, I gotta, you want to wait a second? I'll go grab it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You want me to grab it? Right,
yeah, go ahead.
I'll show you.
Yeah, so Kruz is gonna grab, because he used to be he was a inspiring rapper, and him and his brother had a crew, mano a mano, and that's what he's gonna show me. They used to record, believe it or not, at the same place where Wiz Khalifa used to record. That was before he made it big. So they got to see each other recording at the same place before. So that's crazy. And I didn't know that he got serious to the point where he actually has some projects out, and that's what I wanted to ask. And it seems like he does have some projects that he got out, so that's awesome. And I wonder also if, with the way that music moves now, because it's more like you don't really need a label or anything like that. There's all kinds of platforms available out there now that maybe he might be able to upload some. If his new show that he got in the morning now with K104 that he just joined Didi in the morning, breaking right here with the Global Latin Factor, he might be able to still put out some of those music. So that's great to hear. And again, the man speaks 3 languages. Has been on radio for 16-year radio, not necessarily on the air, but he has been 8 years at a nighttime as far as a night show, and then he did in the morning show here in Dallas as well. And he's been on TV, and I'm going to ask him about that part too, because he's been with the CW33 network for some time, freelancing. And I do want to ask him about that part. I want to know, how did that come about? Because I think it's important to have that. And I think the man was built to be an entertainer in that sense. I really feel like it's...
I appreciate all those compliments you was giving me.
Oh, my bad, bro. I didn't know you were here, and I thought you was out.
No, I got the AirPods on. So here's this is with the official album.
You get in the
we have put out.
Okay. And what's the name of that one?
Mano y Mano. It was self-titled. See on the bottom.
Mm-hmm. I got it.
Mano y Mano. That's me and my brother right there. That was the track list. But we got real creative with the inside. We had a little cartoon. We did like all the superhero themes and stuff.
What was your rapper name? Was it J-Kruz or was it something else?
At this time, it was. I went through a couple. I had a couple because I called myself Lorca. That's a Spanish poet from back in the day. My brother's name was Colossus. And through the years, we went through transitions and our names changed. But by the end, by the time this came out, I was on radio at the same time. So I was J-Kruz at that point, and he was so smooth. And you were right. We all recorded at ID Labs. Mac Miller used to record there. Wiz used to record there. Like, there was a whole generation of us coming up during those times that we were all rapping. And if I remember correctly, like me and my brother started rapping first, and then Wiz started coming out of nowhere. And then when Wiz started popping, then Mac started popping. Like, I remember several times, like Mac sitting behind me during events that I used to host. You know, and it's like when he was first coming up and he'd be like, Cruz, let me sit back there. I'm like, man, you good? Yeah, he sit back behind me and shit. Not to say that when he was super famous, we were like still in touch or communication or anything. But
oh yeah,
I got to see all those guys in like in their beginning stages when they was coming up. And it's crazy because when I first got my job here in Dallas, Wiz's Black and Yellow just blew up. And one of the first interviews I did here in Dallas was Wiz when he came through. And he came through to Dallas and it was like, yo, Wiz. He was like, what's up, Cruz? So that was a cool moment, you know.
All right, hold up. Before you say that, September 23rd, 2020. Do you remember that date at all whatsoever? You know why it's significant? Okay, you posted a TikTok that day. And you were talking about the Dallas Cowboy game. And you said, we are going for an onside kick. And we are going for a field goal. So, have you changed teams? Are you still listening?
Have I changed teams?
I'm just saying. You say we going for the onside kick, and we are going for a field goal. Talking about the Cowboys. I'm just saying, J-Kruz.
Because here's my thing. I have grown to appreciate the Dallas Cowboys. Okay. Yeah. I have grown to have a respect for them and even find myself cheering for them at times when they are not playing the Steelers. As long as they're not playing the Steelers, I can sit in a room with other fellow Cowboy fans and help them cheer for the Cowboys. I can. I have no problem with it. I don't have animosity. If anything, I respect the franchise. I do. Yeah. And I respect the love you guys have it because the way y'all love the Cowboys is the way we love the Steelers. It's die hard.
That's what's
Get your ass kicked in the stadium. Okay. Somebody might die in the tailgate. Okay.
All right.
So I respect the passion. So yes, there's times where I find myself. I do. I root for them because if the Steelers are done this year, I don't see us doing anything. Let's go Cowboys.
Be realistic. All right. Check it out. I also saw another TikTok that you had some kind of recognition from the Texas Senate. What was that about, if you don't mind?
Yeah, no, I don't know if I even have that over here in my studio room. I interviewed. It was during when the COVID first hit or whatever. So I went on air and interviewed. I can't remember exactly who it was. You put me on the spot. I can't remember, but it was like a government official.
Gotcha.
And, I put him on air and we got the word out for COVID and stuff like that. So I was just recognized and that was pretty cool. That's all.
That's super dope.
And it was one of my first TikToks too. So I was like, let me use this to make a TikTok.
No, that was awesome. Congratulations again.
Thank you. No, I appreciate that, brother.
Getting recognized is awesome, especially from Texas Senate. That's awesome. And I also
I appreciate that.
I seen before that you also used it before as super neighborhood hero, like that you used it before in a couple of times.
Yeah, neighborhood hero. See on the album you see right here.
Mm-hmm.
On the bottom, it says Neighborhood Heroes. So it was like, again, I'm so into heroes, me and my brother superheroes, that we like when we first, like with our rap career, we like associated a lot of hero stuff with it. There's songs in here called Superhero. There's one of my favorite songs on this album is like the whole song we used. I'll be your Peter Parker. I'll be your Bruce Wayne. I'll be you be my Mary Jane. Like we used all like their real names and their nicknames in these songs to express whatever we want. And it's called Let Me Be Your Hero. So we use like all these metaphors with superheroes. It's one of my favorite songs on the album. But it's just Neighborhood Heroes is a name that we created for us as a group, like with all the homies. You know what I mean?
Got you. And then nowadays, as I was mentioning earlier, you really don't need a label anymore. I know you're focused your career on something else nowadays, right? You're going into the morning show. I'm pretty sure some of the most famous people are going to start reaching out again, even though you want to let it dry for a little while, but that's how it works. Are you going to upload anything? Have you uploaded anything? You thought about it, or you just
I'm going to be honest with you, my G. Like,
absolutely.
I've never, like, we haven't uploaded any of it, but you bring up a good point. Like, why not put it somewhere and let it live, like, online where people can at least go check it out? So, like, people see this interview, then they can go actually and go hear the music in that song I just got done talking about. So you bring up an interesting point where I really might call my brother or set something up where I put this stuff online. I never had no intention to it. I enjoyed it.
It's already ready, right? It's already packaged, ready to go?
Oh, it's done. Yeah, literally, I got this. This is an old one. I literally have like 30 of these downstairs. Still in wrapping. Still wrapped.
Yeah. You never know, bro. I mean, I know I think you still have a passion for hip hop, even talking about it. Oh, for sure.
Listen, you drop a beat, cuz, like me being a rapper, like I can rap anytime. Like, now, I might not be able to. I don't do the whole like the way like the new kind of rap is a little bit like on a different tempo. Right. I don't necessarily rap on that tempo, but like you drop a beat, cuz I'll start freestyling like it's nothing.
Absolutely.
And not to say it'll be great right at first. I might have to warm up a little bit, but yeah, freestyling, like dropping beats, hip hop, everything. I still love that shit. It's in me.
All right, and then another question of the CW, because I know in the other interviews you mentioned being in there, and it's been about 9 years now. But how did that come about? How did the opportunity come about?
I'll tell you. So again, like, remember how I told you, like, opportunities always kind of come to me.
Doing the right thing.
Like, it wasn't like I went there and I auditioned. There was a situation where I was doing my night show, and then one of the camera guys knew somebody from the CW, and they were having like this meeting, and the guy was like, my man Muhammad from Dallas Weekly, right? He was a journalist and he was doing something with them, and he came on my local I had a local segment called Raising the Bar back in the day where I would interview up and coming artists, right, on my radio show.
Yes, sir.
So Mo comes through with this artist. I meet Mo Muhammad, and he's like, "Yo, oh my God, man, you got a great personality. Hey, I got this meeting with the CW. They want to So I was like, "Shit, I'll go with you." So I go with him. I meet this guy named Dave there, and me and Dave hit it off, and boom, 2 weeks later, I'm doing a music segment on the CW called The Underground.
I remember that. I watched it a couple of times.
I used to talk about 3 artists. It was about a 5-minute segment, and I did it every week. And then from there, they had me doing New Music Tuesdays. And then from there, I was a guest anchor, like with the rest of like their actual morning show several times. I interviewed MC Search. I interviewed 7th Street, and then I did like a movie review segment, and then I did Street View, where I was in the street asking people questions. So again, I've been with them for like 8 years. Even though management has changed in there 3-4 times, J-Kruz has survived.
Yeah, that's dope, because it shows a lot about your consistency as far as like what you're doing. I think you enjoy the TV. I really do. I know it's difficult. I know it's harder. Go ahead.
No, I do. When I was young, my first dream ever was to be like a movie star, because I've always wanted to entertain people. It's always been in me. I always wanted to entertain. And radio gave me that avenue, because growing up, I made a lot of bad decisions that didn't necessarily set me up for the greatest path. And I threw away a lot of talents, not using them and doing dumb shit with my time. But thank God for radio, because it put me in an opportunity where I could still use my personality to make a living,
Yeah.
And
do you think it saved your life a little bit, or kept you out of trouble, or maybe even jail, getting into the radio?
Yeah, well, music, I would say more being focused on music during that time in my life is what kind of kept me and my brother kept us out of a lot of a shit, just being focused on music and trying to become rappers kept us really focused. But my mom, I would say the reason why we stayed out of jail was Mom's. Mom's was nuts. Mi mamá era loca, bro. She whooped us. She was on us. My mom she didn't give up, because like, Dad died when we was really young. Like, she was, especially for my brother, because he was a little wilder than me.
Right.
But Mom's was the reason that we we stayed out of jail, to be honest with you. And then once we got to a certain point, we weren't that much of knuckleheads. We were like, okay, I ain't doing too much shit. You know what I mean? I'll do a little bit of dirt, but not too much.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry for your loss. I didn't say it earlier. I know it had happened. I know it's been years ago, but still, so losing a father figure and things like that, and then being raised by a single mom and still turning around, because I feel that you still have been successful and continue to be, even with this new opportunity. So I think you're doing an awesome job for yourself. Absolutely.
Thank you, my G. I think my dad will be proud.
Absolutely. I feel absolutely. If he looked down on you, and I'm pretty sure sometimes you felt that he probably watching you over certain situations that might happen. You feel
absolutely,
like, oh yeah,
man. This shit never goes away, cuz.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, he died when he was 38. I was like, what, 13 or some shit like that. So it's been so long, but that kind of feeling and attachment never goes away. So it's cool. You just learn to live with it.
Absolutely. Okay, so we're gonna end it here shortly, but real quickly, two things before I let you go. So the style, fashion that you have, and modeling, you've done that before, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Now modeling on I've done like ads, like print work, because I'm not tall. Obviously, I'm not tall enough for the runway. I'm not like that, because I remember being young trying to go to like modeling things and just being turned away. Like they were like, okay, little guy, you're way too short. See you later. So no, like my style though, I would say just me, like my style just comes from me. I was always like that, bro. I was always like trying to put together the nice shirt that matched the pants. I've always had this sense of my mom used to say something to me, right? Because being from Dominican Republic, she said, no matter how poor you are, doesn't mean you have to look bad. You can still iron your clothes if you can. You can still try to keep it nice. You can still try to, if you only have one pair of pants, wash them every day and put them, you know what I mean? Like, you can still look sharp. Do your best to look sharp no matter what your economic status is, because looking sharp is very important. It can get you, your image, the way you look can get you a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I've always had that in me. I've always had I always take a lot of pride on what I look like. So it's a pain in the ass sometimes though, because I can't just like put something on sometimes. I need 45 an hour to get dressed and shit, hour and a half, shit like that. But yeah, my style, it's just part of me, bro. I always want to be sharp. It's just something about me. I don't know.
And that's another thing that I thought about when you were doing it, because the transitions that you do on TikTok at A1, and I know you mentioned before in an interview that other men have asked you for advice or take them shopping to, like, because they like the swag,
I've had other guys, like, people, co-workers, like, they'd be like, oh, Kruz, man, I like how you put shit together. I like your style. You know what I mean? Because I feel a lot of times guys just don't have the imagination I have when it comes to putting outfits together. That's all it is.
Yeah.
They don't see it in their mind. Like I'll like, when I start thinking of outfits, I'll close my eyes and start thinking like, okay, I know I got that shirt. I could put it with these pants and maybe these shoes. Like, I start going through those ideas in my head. When I go shopping for an outfit, I already have a game plan. Like, you can't just go there and be like, let me go find something. You gotta like, so I've had guys say, hey man, you think you could help me like, take me shopping, help me show, and I've always thought maybe I should start some kind of like styling thing for men who might have a hard time like putting together outfits,
Yes, and I remember you had mentioned maybe a website, but even easier than nowadays, especially with being able to talk over the TikTok. Like, you know what I mean? Growing an audience.
Oh, yeah, just be like, hey, put this together with this.
Yeah, like giving your opinions to what.
Talk. I need some direction, cuz you need to set this and then monetize it, and me and you can split it for real.
Again, I got your number. Again, reach out to me anytime you need. But I felt like it's such a thing that people want to see, that if you talk over to coach them how to do it, and then before you know it, guys will eventually get to you and be like, oh, you know what? Yeah, I see what he's talking about. I see what he's going with. My brother's all into that stuff more, like, but he's more the professional.
You're giving me an idea right now. There's an outfit that I'm thinking sometimes people don't know how to wear this kind of jacket, and I got to show them how they can wear it.
And you got the golden mic to talk about it.
That's right.
I'm just saying, Mr. Kruz. I mean, I apologize.
No, great ideas, bro. You really brought my attention to you brought a lot of things to my attention that I need to look at for sure.
Absolutely. And one last thing, do you have anything else to plug in before I let you? I know you were doing something regarding single mothers. I hope we can get the episode out before it goes out.
We did that. That was yesterday.
Okay,
that was yesterday. Yeah, it happened yesterday. It was really good. Shout outs to Justin Martin, I just got hit.com, David Gotzi. They gave $500 to 40 moms. CW33 ended up giving another two $500 gift cards, so that was an extra 1,000.
That's dope.
It was a really dope event. Shouts to everybody who was there. But I just want to leave everybody with the fact that I am the newest member of the Didi in the Morning morning show here on K104. I'm representing Latinos. Just wake up with me. I'm on this, and we're a syndicated show. Wish me luck, 60 cities. The CW is on every Wednesday, Entertainment News with J-Kruz, where I do like entertainment news piece. So just follow me at J-Kruz on there. I spell it with a K. That's J-K-R-U-Z on there, J-Kruz. And, I appreciate this time, man. I'm Latin factor. I like this. I'm on it. All my Latinos out there, wherever you from, we all speak the same language, baby. Let's go.
Absolutely. And last question before I let you go. As my brother helped me think about this question because we were talking about like the 5-year plan, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I think I want to go with something else. So if someone was to Google your name in the future, what do you hope they find that your legacy would be?
I would hope that my legacy would say that I was a talented radio, TV / actor, because I do want some hopefully some acting roles in my future on some major motion pictures. Hopefully, you know what I mean, that kind of thing. That I was a great dad. That I was good to wifey, and that I was genuine, and that if I were to die, that tons of people would come to my funeral because through my journey of my success, I feel like I've been nothing but good to people, and I've helped a lot of people get on. I'm not trying to, I just feel like that's my legacy would be. It would be a dope one. It would be a positive one. Like people would have nothing but great things to say about me, and I don't mean to sound egotistical by saying that. I wouldn't want it to be full of bad comments, like nasty shit, like, oh, he was a liar, he was this, he was that. I just wanted to be, he was a great dude kind of thing. You know what I mean? He would be missed, that kind of thing.
Absolutely. And again, that's awesome, bro. And I wish you nothing but the best. I almost see you being on a movie at one time. I think you have everything that you
I think it's coming. Yeah,
absolutely,
for sure. Good.
It's absolutely coming. I think you didn't want to tell me. I think you have a little something you didn't want to share.
Oh no. Unfortunately, the only TV I have in my career right now is the CW, which I'm not hating on it. I love being a personality on TV, but I would love to do some acting. I would like some actual, and I'm not dissing like smaller movies. I would like the opportunity to be in a big movie someday. That's all.
I'm pretty sure you get
because I understand that the craft of acting takes practice and takes this and takes that, and at the same time, I don't have a lot of that time or that much time to be able to go and I can't go away for 3 months or 4 or 5 months trying to zone in on my acting skills.
Right.
I just can't. So I would like an opportunity to be me in a major motion picture, but I thought that would be really cool.
I think you make it happen. You did the Raw video, Beat Up the Block. You were on
Remember
TV,
that? Yeah.
I like that. One of the Vixen I had interviewed a long time ago that was on the video. That was dope. So I was like, man, hey, it's little at a time, but I almost guarantee it's like practice over and over, right?
For sure. The TV practice, being in front of the camera for the past whatever years, I've been having a lot of practice. I could see myself in the future on a radio TV simulcasted type show. I think I'm made for TV at the same time I'm made for radio. I just think something's gonna come along, something bigger, something cool.
Absolutely. And again, if you never heard it from anybody else, I'm pretty sure you have. I know that we don't know each other that well, but I'm proud of you for the things that you have accomplished. You have a well-established career, and I think you are going to continue to do great things. So it was a pleasure interviewing. Thank you for the time. And you got my number. Hit me up.
Man, listen, Latin Factor. You need a guest. You need a guest host next time you interview somebody. Bring me on, man. Come on, bro. Let me. I want to represent, bro. I want to represent.
I got you. It's gonna continue. I'm gonna consistently put stuff out, and we'll get it to another level. Absolutely. All right. Anything else, Mr. J-Kruz?
Nah, man. Just follow me on social media, y'all. J-Kruz on there. On TikTok, it's J_KRUZ. Man, we cruise.
Absolutely. This is the Global Latin Factor podcast. Remember, we are just like you. We are the spice in this melting pot.